Hey you guys, it's your girl Kimberly here. I'm doing a Riverdale video on Barchie and why I love them, why I ship them, why I think they'd be a good couple. Um, and so I'm gonna start talking. So why I love Barchie is because they grew up together, and I love stories like that in the 80s rom-coms and stuff like that. You know, they've always grown up together. They've been best friends forever. You know, every time they've had stuff happen, major, bad, good or bad, you know, they've had each other's back. You know, when Fred got shot, you know, Archie called Betty when he got to the hospital. You know, over his girlfriend Veronica, So, and you know, when the Black Hood was calling Betty, you know, Betty didn't tell Jughead. She told Archie, and Archie had her back, and stuff like that. So whether good or bad stuff that happens to Betty and Archie in Riverdale, you know, they've always got each other's back. And another thing that I'd actually like to figure this out in season 3, and I'm hoping that Archie will go to jail and this whole scene will happen, is that how Cooper tells Archie like why he didn't, why he spared his life. That's what I was getting at. Because the Black Hood had 2 times to kill Archie and failed. So I would just love for Hal to tell us like why he didn't go after Archie or something, because he committed a big sin. He was a minor having a relationship with a teacher. You know, that's a kind of a sin, you know. I mean, I'm not playing him as, you know, him as a good person, but to me, that's just, I mean, and, you know, and, and going back to Archie and Veronica and Betty, I've read, the Archie marries Betty happily ever after comics or something, or I read one of them. And it always talks about when it comes to Archie marrying Veronica and Archie marrying Betty, they always compare Archie and Betty's relationship, and somebody made a remark. I don't know if it's like a promo or it's in the comic or if it's just out there, but somebody made the remark that Archie chose love over money. And that's another reason why I think that Betty and Archie are better as a couple and stuff like that, is because I really think that the whole time Archie is with Veronica, and this is mainly like Riverdale, is like he likes the idea of power and control, and if you're more powerful, you have the more control, and you can do this and you can do that. Because the first season Archie, he wanted to go to college for music. He wanted to be this songwriter. He wanted to do this. He meets Hiram and while he's dating Veronica, and it's like, I'm going to school for business. You know, he wants to impress Hiram with the money and the power, and he wants to be part of the mob and stuff like that. So the whole thing of the whole idea that he chooses love over money is a great example of how, you know, how Betty and Veronica are, you know. But to say that he chose love over money, to consider his relationship with Betty Cooper as love, that should be a big hint that yeah, they are destined to be together. And actually, Betty Cooper was made for the love interest. She was his first love interest. I mean, I'm not saying that she should be the only one. Like, he should date, like, yeah, he should date other people, but at the end of the day, Betty should be the end girl. Betty should be his wife, his mother of his children, and stuff like that. You know, that's how I see it. I mean, and this is the last thing I'm gonna go with, which, this is the main thing. This is Riverdale. This is how I see Riverdale ending. This is the series finale of Riverdale, and this is why. Why I see Betty and Archie together at the end of the show. It should be just them, as maybe at Sweetwater River or at a park or something, and they should have little Elizabeth and little Archibald with them, because I could see them together in Riverdale, you know, that they are living the life that Polly and Jason should have had. That is a major reason for me in Riverdale why I ship Archie, is I see them having the life that Jason and Polly should have had, raising their children, even though they're kind of related, they're cousins, I'm sorry, but because they were together, they had children, stuff like that, that I see them having the life that Polly and Jason could have had or should have had, and stuff like that. And I do hope to see little Elizabeth in a dream sequence. I do hope to see little Archibald in a dream sequence, because to me, since we've seen a Bughead's married life, a Barchie wedding, we Barchie fans should get Barchie children. We should be able to see. I would love to see KJ and Lily react with kids, with, you know, play with parents. I mean, I would love to see KJ play dad. That would be awesome to see. I think he'd be fun and stuff like that. But yeah, I totally see the show ending with Betty and Archie together. They have their children and stuff like that, because they are living the life that Polly and Jason could have had or should have had before everything came out, everything exploded. But yeah, so why I love Barchie is they're best friends. They're childhood. They've known each other forever. They got each other's back, and they're like a newer version of Polly and Jason. And mainly because they compare Betty and Veronica as love over money, or money over love, or stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I love Barchie. I'm a big Barchie shipper. I will still ship Barchie. If it doesn't happen, I will still ship Betty and Archie, because I do know they do get married in at least 2 comics. So I'm fixing to sign off with this video. So y'all check me out at Twitter at Demonic Ruby. Check me out on Instagram at MissKimberly.Jones1114, or check me out on Snapchat. I am Miss Kimberly 1114. So, and last but not least,